Hi, and welcome to our 3D Prints. I'm Eric.
Alright, so to begin with, you're going to need, for the designing process, a 6-inch ruler and or electronic digital calipers. Now the reason why we're using this is when we design things, we want to get the measurements or dimensions as close as possible to whatever we want. Um, I recommend both of these. You can get both of them on Amazon for less than like 12 bucks. When we do the 3D printing, you're also going to need a spatula and tweezers. When we do our prints and we take them off the heat bed, normally the heat bed is going to be real hot, like 200 degrees or so. So you're going to need a spatula to help pry off your work. The tweezers are actually used for the nozzle. Sometimes you'll have excess amount seeping out of the nozzle of the filament, so you need to actually pull that off, otherwise it gets real messy. A few other things to work with. You might want some smooth sandpaper to help with the rough edges. I'm using P150 grade. And you're also going to want to have a pail or bucket of some kind to clean up with. Like I said, 3D printing gets kind of messy, and you want your waste to kind of not be all over the place. So I use a small cup to throw my waste in, and then I just dump it in the trash. Last but not least, we need a pen and paper. For the design, you're going to be doing a lot of notes, uh, changing your dimensions, things like that. And you just kind of want to write it down to help you organize your thoughts a little bit better.
So, for the plastic material that we will be using, um, we're using what is called PLA filament. PLA stands for polylactic acid. Currently, right now, I am using what is called silk PLA. It's basically a more shinier PLA plastic than regular PLA. It's one of the most common plastics as well for 3D printing. Another plastic that people use is ABS, but right now we're using PLA. I also have two colors, gold and yellow. I'll be getting more different colors of filament here pretty soon, but for now, this is what we'll be using. So now that we have our tools and our filament, I'll go through the designing process and more about the 3D printer I'm using. So this is my 3D printer. It is a Snapmaker. The thing about this is that it's actually a 3-in-1 CNC machine. If you've seen it online, you'll know it's not just a 3D printer, it's a milling machine and a laser engraver. But for now, we're using it for 3D printing. Anyone who's getting into 3D printing, there are cheaper ones available online, but I'm particularly using this because I also do, again, other projects. So for me, I use a CAD software called Tinkercad. There are several different types of CAD softwares that you can use. Some of them are free. This one is actually free to use. Uh, I enjoy using it because it's easy to understand, very basic, and I'd recommend it to anybody who is starting out in 3D printing. So what we gotta do is I laid down the ruler so I could see my measurements, and I'm just gonna make a keychain out of my name. So we need a few letters. E R I and C. Okay, so we got our letters. Now we need to join them together. And I'm actually gonna make them cross a little bit. That way you can actually see the detail of them a little bit. I like that. Okay, so we're actually gonna merge this together. Okay, that looks good. And let's see. Now, for mil, again, we're dealing with millimeters, so I'm actually going to bring this down. Nah, let's bring this up to 5. 5 mil. Okay. 30.76. If we go back to our stainless steel ruler, 31 millimeters is about 1.25 inches. That doesn't seem too big, so let's go, I'd say 2.5, so let's go about 70 on the length. Okay, and then we need to adjust the top, so let's go 30, and that, yeah, that looks decent. Now, if you don't normally use millimeters, you can always come in here and switch millimeters to inches, and it will change it for you. So let's go 2.5. 2.5. Okay. And 1 inch. That looks okay. Now we got our keychain part done, but we need to hook it onto something. I'm just going to take this circle and resize it a little bit. Let's go 0.5, 30. Okay, and we're going to put it right there. Oh, and one more thing. Yeah. No, let's put it. Actually, we're gonna center it. So we're gonna take everything, align it, pretty much like so. Yeah, like that. Maybe move it out just a hair. Yeah, right there's good. Perfect. I'm actually going to go back in here and I'm gonna switch this out because I don't really like the look of it. So let's actually go up and do this right here. Okay, so let's do 1 point, nope, let's go 0.5, 0.5, just a different circle. 0.2, yeah, that'll work, okay. 1/2 inch, no, let's go 0.25. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that big. Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna take these, align, bring this in, right about there. And then if you want to recenter, see where it is. I think we're gonna have to move it in just a little bit. So let's go right here, 3 point. going to line it and merge. And there you have it. So now that we're done with the design, we're going to load it up into a slicing software. Now this is the Snapmakers software. Pretty basic if you've ever used a 3D printer before, but basically it shows your 3D design in the middle, all the different parts to your the 3D print process is over here in colors. You got your inner wall, your outer, your skin, skirt, the support, infill, and anything else unknown. And what you can do is you can actually look in here and kind of cut through the layers to see exactly what your 3D path is going to look like. So for this build, I'm just going to use some of the settings I've already made. We're going to generate the G-code. Okay. Now down here it says that it's going to take about 40 minutes to print. So I'm going to load this up into the workspace. Turn on the Snapmaker. And begin. So one thing to point out, the filament's gonna bleed out a little bit, so you wanna actually pull that off. So here's our keychain. As you can see, it's pretty basic, nothing special. All in all, it took 40 minutes to actually make. Few rough edges from where I was trying to stab it to get it off of the bed plate. But other than that, it looks nice. Well, that does it for our first 3D print. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting another video here in about a week. Until then, I'm Eric, and I'll see you later.